Hey, so Gary, what separates the broccoli from the soft taco? Why is it so easy to say no to the broccoli and so easy to say yes to taco?
Just quite frankly, one I wanted, one I didn't want. Well, one tastes better, one was more palatable. Why did I want because I've been waiting for it. It's been my treat. The
Okay.
broccoli wasn't in my initial fantasy. When I got my eyes closed and I'm fantasizing, broccoli is not there.
Yeah. We don't know, people don't know Taco Bell for broccoli. Quite frankly, I'd be concerned if they offered me broccoli there. Okay. But if you go to Texas Roadhouse, you order a steak, I mean, broccoli on the side, it complements it, right?
Yes, it
The
does.
broccoli does not complement the Crunchwrap Supreme. So I like to kind of use that analogy as myself as a team member. Like your customers know you for home and auto. Find a way, if you can, to keep the life insurance complementary to that. Okay. So paid off loans, that's why it makes sense. Okay. Now, coverage for you, not just for them. We talk about liability. I know you guys know how to explain liability to your customers, but there's coverage if they're in an accident that they're at fault for and they kill someone. There's coverage there for them, but there's not coverage for, there's coverage for the other people. There's not coverage like that for them. So when you're talking about liability, that's a great and easy way to pivot. Hey, we've got coverage if something terrible happened and you were to get in an accident at fault and someone were to be killed. There's coverage for them there to help protect you, but we don't have any coverage like that for you. If you were to pass away prematurely, we don't have any coverage like that for your family, but I'm going to look at a coverage for you and you can tell me what you think. Great way to pivot. Okay. Now, going off of the pay off the loan, I'm going to share a pivot with you in a process that really works so well here in a minute. So just hang in there. Okay. And then the next one is coverage for drivers. How many of us are getting parents calling in to add their young drivers to their insurance? I mean, we get that at least every month, right? Like it's something that will happen. Why aren't we talking about life insurance to protect those young drivers? Did you guys know that the leading cause of death with teenagers is auto accidents? Do your customers know that? Yeah, there's a big gap there. It's all it is like, look, I'm going to quote your youthful driver a life benefit. Again, I'm trying to avoid life insurance because I don't want I don't want those trigger words to stop the conversation. I want to get to a place where I can educate what it does and why it's important and not just have them tell me no. Right? Useful drivers, great pivot there. But also any sort of added driver. Hey, like what a lot of our customers like to do is add a life benefit for their added drivers, even if they don't have it, right? Maybe you get a life benefit for a fiance as an added driver. And then it's like, look, Gary, we actually don't have anything on you. Let me at least look and quote something on you. 2 for 1, boom, easy, right? Okay. So those are the most simple ways to bring up life insurance. Pay off loans. We've got, this will give you coverage for you, not just them, and coverage for drivers. Okay. You guys follow me so far? Okay. I want to teach you this process. Car loan process, sell life and disability to our customers and prospects with loans. Now, if your company doesn't offer disability, that's okay. You can still sell life insurance with this baby. Okay. But if your company does, I would recommend going for both. Okay. And I'll explain strategy here in a minute. Okay. So I'm just going to do a role play. I think this is the best way to demonstrate this process. But before I do this, in the chat, how many added cars, added or replaced cars are you getting in your agency every single month? If you guys had to put a number on it, like how many times are you adding or replacing vehicles for customers in a month in your agency? Brenda. Brenda, I'm real excited about this. Okay.
50.
What about the rest of us?
Per year.
50. Wow. Let me know, guys, how many, and maybe let's do this. As an individual team member, if you're just a team member, how many opportunities do you come across every day with a customer or a prospect that has a loan on a vehicle? Like, is that number like I'm running into like 2, 3 a day, 5 a day, 10 a day? Okay. At least 5. There we go. Thank you, Jose. Okay. 4 to 5. I love this. So here's the deal, guys. The play I'm about to teach you can be ran anytime you have a customer or prospect that has a loan on a vehicle with you. Sorry, just a loan on a vehicle, not with you. They have a loan on a vehicle, you can run this play. Okay. We're going to talk about why this works. We're going to talk about psychology, but first I want to demonstrate it first. And I want you guys to put yourselves in Gary's shoes as the customer. A couple things I want you to think about. Number one is, how is Coulter talking about what it does, not what it is? Number two, how are we keeping it complementary to the auto? And then the third thing I want you to think about is, how do you like, just think about your experience. Do you feel like you're being sold to? Do you feel like Coulter's selling? Okay. So Gary, you're going to be my customer. You're going to call in, just purchase a new truck over the weekend, and you're going to just add it to your policies. Okay. For this example, Gary, you're not going to give me any objections. Okay. I want people to see from pivot to close. We'll get to objections after this. And quite honestly, guys, I don't get objections with this. It's crazy. I mean, I will, and I'll share those with you, but for the most part, we don't. Okay. So Gary, go ahead, call into my office, and we'll do this thing.
Ring, ring, ring.
This is Coulter.
Hey, Coulter, it's Gary with the black truck from the other day.
Beautiful, Gary. How we doing?
Me and my wife stopped in, hey, to pay the bill. Well, while we were out that very day, we ended up getting another big black truck. And so I wanted to add another vehicle, man.
Yes, you did. I love it. Did you get the one you brought by, or a different one?
One just like it, the old
Just like
80
it.
scene one, and I had to get two.
Oh man, goodness gracious. Look at you. I love it. You have to bring the new one by. Gary, what's the year, make, and model of the truck?
That's a 2024 GMC Sierra 2500.
Phew.
Mhm.
Brand spanking new. I bet that smells real nice. That fresh truck smell. Love it. Good. Gary, did you pay cash on this thing, or did you get a loan?
No, I'm definitely taking a loan out on this thing, man. 6% interest, or it's.
I hear you, man. No, I love it. I love it. With that loan, what's the total amount that you financed for that loan?
Well, with my down payment, 68,000, around 68,500, something like that.
Cool. And what does it put your monthly payment at roughly?
About $1,400, man.
I
Well,
love it.
between the two, yeah, you're looking at around 3 G's.
Looking around 3 Gs, but this one's about 1,400.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good stuff. And I know you told me before, Gary, but remind me, what do you do for a living?
I'm a recruiter. I recruit for insurance agents, things like that.
Okay, cool. Pause. I've got this sales process in my mind, guys. I know where I'm going next. But if there's any point in time that I can take a detour with Gary and build a relationship with him, build rapport, right? Get his guard down, I will. I'll talk about his truck all day long. I'll talk about what he does for work all day long. Okay, but for this sake, I'm gonna keep this going. Okay. So
Well, you had me at the new car smell. I was smelling it when you said that.
right? Yes. Dude, I'm gonna celebrate with you for sure. Okay. So Gary, where you've got a loan on this new GMC, I'm gonna quote you our car loan protection package, and you can tell me what you think. So Gary, where, when people have loans on vehicles, there's really three things I think about as your agent. First thing I think about is we want to make sure that if anything happened to this new GMC, maybe you're involved in a fender bender, maybe you hit a deer, or maybe even this thing gets totaled. We want to make sure that we have the right coverage in place for you here to come in to either fix or replace the GMC for you with little to no money out of your pocket. So I've quoted you $500 deductibles for comprehensive and collision coverages, meaning the most you pay if anything happens to the truck is $500. We'll take care of the rest. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's what you're doing. Like, yep, that's
Cool.
right. That's
Great.
cool.
The second thing I think about is we've got this $68,000 loan financed with ABC Bank. We want to make sure that, heaven forbid, the unthinkable were to happen to you and you were to pass away prematurely, if you didn't make it home tonight, that we have the right coverage in place to come in to pay off that loan. That way, this debt isn't getting passed on to wife, kids, family. That way, they're not in a position where they might be struggling to make this monthly payment. That way, they don't have to tap into potential exhaust savings account just to pay for this thing. And that way, they don't have this added financial burden on top of trying to deal with losing you. Okay. And Gary, the third thing I think about is where you're working. You've got this $1,400 monthly payment now. We want to make sure that if you were to get sick or hurt and you were out of work for an extended period of time, that we have the right coverage in place to come in and make those monthly payments for you. That way you don't have to, again, tap into or potentially exhaust savings account. That way you don't have to stress out about where in the heck is this money coming from, but you can focus on getting better. And that way it doesn't negatively affect your credit. So Gary, I'm going to look at those coverages for you. You can tell me what you think. Okay. So looking at this, Gary, it looks like if we did those, it would actually bring that total to about $180 a month.
And I mean, my insurance is 500 a month on this thing, so say no to that. What about,
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, we're going to pause there. Okay. Appreciate you, Gary. So at that point, guys, after he tells me yes, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get very clear with what these coverages are called, how it's going to show up on the bill. Now that he understands what it does for him, we can talk about what it is. Okay. So Gary, hey, the coverage is going to come in and pay off the loan in the event that you pass away prematurely. It's called life insurance. It's a separate policy. It'll be on its own line item, or it'll be billed separately. Remember, the total for this full thing, truck insurance, this coverage, and the coverage to make monthly payments worth the 180. Okay. I do need to gather a few things from you. I've got $100,000 of coverage for you. So plenty to pay off the $68,000 loan, leave a little bit behind for family. What I need to know, Gary, is in the event if something did happen to you, who do you want this money to go to?
oh, easily my pet squirrel, Roland.
Beautiful. Okay.
I'm kidding. I guess I get in trouble if I don't say my wife. So
Yeah, probably would. Okay, so now I'm just going into the application, starting with beneficiaries, and then I'll just start the application from start to finish and go through the questions. Again, now that he understands what it does for him, we can get into what it is. Same thing with the short-term disability, if you were able to sell those products, okay? The coverage is going to come in, Gary, and make monthly payments in the event you get sick or hurt and can't work. It's called short-term disability income. It's a separate policy. It'll be billed separately. I need to gather a few things from you on that. Boom. So guys, I want to hear from you and I want to hear from Gary as well. But guys, if you were Gary, if you were the customer, how did you feel? Gary, did you feel like I was selling you?
Well, I think it was pretty brilliant because you didn't really say, if I'm allowed to say what my thought was. It was like, I was all proud of my truck. We were talking truck language. You wanted me to protect my truck. I mean, what the heck? I just made this major investment. Oh, by the way, it's also going to cover this. We'll name it this. And now I'm like, well, oh, really? So I had kind of like this aha moment. And I am not an insurance professional, so I do not have the education like anybody on this call has. So I am your typical prototypical consumer. So you spoke my language, and now you got me thinking like, I don't even know what I'm thinking, but now I'm listening to you. You got me
Curiosity,
thinking.
right? I saw when I said I'm going to quote you the car loan protection package, like I've made that up, guys. But what did it do for you? It's like, oh, what's that? Never heard of that before.
Well, I used to work at a car protection place. I won't say where, but that's they spend more than that to protect their cars. I'm being honest. Well, you already know this. And then it's going to protect other things too.
Right.
I think that was pretty. You spoke my language.
Right. I love it. Guys, and here's the cool thing. I didn't feel like I was selling him, right? Like people, guys, things have changed. It's not the way that people buy has changed. How many of you on this phone call like to feel like you're being sold to? No way. How many of you like to feel like you're selling? You're pushing a product on people. I guarantee you both of those answers are no. So how do we position ourselves as educators and not salespeople? If you want to trigger sales resistance, right? Like you're going to be a salesperson, right? Like we want to figure out how we can get people's guards down and educate instead of push to sell. Do me all a favor. It's your desk right now. Go ahead on a piece of paper and just write out sell, SELL for me. Now, once you've done that, I want you to take your pen or your pencil and just cross that thing out. The belief that we need to develop is we're not selling. We are helping people. We are helping people help themselves. Because I'll tell you, Gary, when he bought his new truck, he may not be thinking about these problems directly. He may not be thinking, oh, if I die, my loan gets passed on to my wife for her to deal with. He's not thinking about that. But when I bring it up to him, he sees that issue. And so I'm helping him help himself, helping him protect his financial future. People aren't thinking about those problems. They don't even know they have them. It's your job to help them see that they do. You want to build that gap. You want to help them see that risk. And then the solution is, Gary, I've got a coverage that'll pay that off. And then the benefits, hey, well, why does that even matter to Gary in his situation? Well, Gary, that way, your wife, your kids, they don't have to struggle to make this monthly payment. That way, they don't have to sell this thing out of necessity. That way, they don't have to have this added financial burden on top of trying to deal with losing you. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. There's the benefits, right? And then at the very end, we just close that baby. We quote one price. The reason I do that is because I want Gary to stay focused on the benefits. I want him to make it very, very simple, right? I don't want him thinking about the price. I don't want him doing math. A lot of us want to quote these separate, hey, this is this. It's like, guys, make it simple. Okay. You want to get him to agree to what it does for him, then we can get into what it is and all those details. Okay. Okay.
Hey,
Beautiful.
can I make an observation as a consumer also?
Yes.
When you just, because I took some notes that I'm gonna use for my process, because there's some serious nuggets here. Timing matters, right? Got to remember, when I'm calling in for this, I'm at my proudest, right? I'm at my happiest, my brand new car. Even if it's a used car, it's still brand new to me, right? And so people, when they're at their happiest, I think they're more approachable and more able to, plus, I don't want to say smooth, but because that sounds salesy, but when you spoke my language, a car protection package, we're talking about a big black truck, 2,500. You're like, yeah. And you went right. We both went and held hands into like that, into that feeling. So, anyways, that's what I picked up on for me. Like, yeah, you took me at my happiest, and then you showed me things I didn't even know, and now I feel even better. So that's all. I feel better.
Good feedback, guys, right? Okay, so here's a few things to end. Guys, in your offices, do less product training and more prospect training. The more you can understand your people, the more you can speak their language. Okay, this is my truck. Okay, I've been looking forward to this. I wanted this type of truck for a long time. Okay, I'm going to take you through my experience of buying this truck. How many of us on this call have purchased a vehicle at some point in our lives and took a loan out on it? In the chat, let me know. Type yes if you have. Gary's like, if I had more hands, I'd throw them up, right? I'm with you. Okay?
Of course.
Okay, so here's what I want each of you to do with me. Okay, go back in your mind to the last time that you did it. I love that. Love that. Way to go. Okay, go back in your mind when you purchased your last vehicle and you got a loan on it. I want to go through that whole experience, and I'm going to take you through mine. So Coulter, last summer, it's a Saturday, and Coulter's been wanting a truck for a while. Okay, wants an upgrade, and so it's a Saturday, and my wife, she starts talking about, hey, we should go look at trucks. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm committed to the 4-hour thing today. And there's an issue with me. Like, if I go, I usually leave with something. Okay. And so I was like, I just don't know if I'm ready for this. But she's like, come on. She's convincing me. Right. And so finally, we're like, all right, let's go drive some trucks. I wanted a Ford F-150. I knew I wanted it. I just didn't know what body style I wanted. So like, let's go test drive them. So I'm test driving. I looked at 3 body styles: the Lariat, Platinum, and the Tremor. Okay. We test drive them all. Well, turns out I like the Lariat the most. It's got all the options I need. I'm sitting in the driver's seat and I'm playing with the moonroof, right? I'm turning on the sound. I'm feeling like the heated seats, the cooling seats. It smells so good. My wife's in the passenger seat and we're going on this test drive. And I'm like, this thing is smooth. And she's like, there's so much room in this thing. What do you think we're doing? We're visualizing ourselves taking this thing home. Okay. My wife's over there selling me. She's like, honey, you deserve this. You've been working so hard. Like it's time. And I'm over there like, yeah, this is it. This is the time. We're excited, guys. We are excited to get this thing that we decide. We're like, okay, as long as the numbers make sense, we're going to do this thing. We're going to have a new truck today. Woo! Okay. So we get back to the dealership, get out, and we go walk to the finance person's office. Talk to our salesperson. Well, here comes the numbers, right? Okay, you know what you want to put down? I'm like, yeah, here's what we want to put down. They work up a few options. Like, okay, Coulter. So with what you're wanting to put down, here is your total loan amount. Here's your monthly payment. How do you think I'm feeling now? What do you think I'm thinking now? I mean, I was pretty freaking hyped on life, very excited about this truck. Now I'm looking at this debt that I'm about to take out. What kind of feelings do you think I'm feeling now? My stomach sinks. I'm like, ugh, you're exactly right. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Is this smart? I'm looking at that debt like, is this smart? No.
It's cool.
But are we going to do it anyway? I think we are. But I'm a little stressed. I'm a little stressed out about that loan. I look at that monthly payment and you know what I'm thinking? We have not done that before. That's going to stretch us. But hey, maybe we sell some more life insurance. We'll be good, right? And so, guys, would you guys agree with me? Is your experience similar that when we think about debt and our monthly obligations, there is an element of stress that's associated with that? Would you guys agree with me? Okay. Well, guess what? If you think that way, guess how your customers and prospects think? The exact same way. So the reason that this simple play works so well of paying off loans and making monthly payments is because we're just entering the conversation that is already happening in our customers' minds. No, Gary may not explicitly be thinking, if I die, this debt goes to my family to deal with. He may not be
No.
thinking that, but I'll tell you, Gary is still a little stressed out about this loan amount he just took. He's stressed about it, but this monthly payment. And so when we just enter the conversation already happening, we educate, and we do a good job, risk, solution, benefits here, we make it very simple. We connect with Gary. Guess what? He's in his mind. He's like, oh my gosh, I can get all of those coverages for that price? Or is that just the car insurance? Like, no, it's all of those coverages, car insurance, coverage to pay the loan off, coverage to make monthly payments. It works if we work it. I was getting close to a 70% closing ratio with this thing. Okay. Meaning I have 10 conversations, I'm closing 6 to 7 of them. Now go and look at how many opportunities you guys said that you're getting every day in your offices with people that have loans on vehicles. Some of you said, one of you said 50 a month. If you would just talk to the people calling in to add or replace vehicles with loans about this, then just run this play, your life insurance production will change forever. You will never have to worry about where you're creating opportunities again. And here's the beautiful thing. We're not just going to write these smaller policies and leave them alone. It's the very top of the funnel. We're going to push them down that funnel. Whereas maybe in an issuance review, when this life insurance policy issues to pay off Gary's truck loan, 100,000 in coverage, I'm going to deliver that policy. And guess what I can do? Gary, dude, I know you got a mortgage as well. Let me just run a few numbers and show you what it would cost to pay off the mortgage too. That way your wife, like, they don't have to sell the home out of necessity. But now I've got the car. Now we can build from there. And he's like, oh my gosh, let's do that one. Great. Hey, Gary, you got kids, right? Your family rely on you for your income? There we go. Did you know life insurance is designed to replace income too, aside from paying off debts? Let's at least see what it would cost to replace your income until your youngest is able to be out of the house. Let's just look at that and you can tell me what you think. Now we're building from there. Okay, but I'm telling you, all of these transactions that are happening in our agencies, we can do this, write small policies, get an immediate need covered, and push them down that funnel and help them get a coverage that meets more of their needs, right? Because guys, is this enough coverage for Gary, 100,000 to pay off his loan? Probably not. But does it still do something for him and his family? Absolutely. Does it buy them time? Absolutely. Even the smallest of policies they help. Is it enough? No, but they do help. Okay.
Well, now you got me questioning. Well, how much is enough? I mean, am I able to get enough if it's something I can afford?
Yeah. So see, Jessica says, wouldn't they be thinking they're already stretched too thin and wouldn't be able to afford an additional payment for the life insurance? What would you say to that? Jessica, I'm with you here. Okay. Like things are tough right now for a lot of people, but sometimes it's an easy out for them, right? I mean, how many of us get Starbucks every day? People have the money. Okay. It's just not a priority. It's our job to help them make it a priority. Now, I think that's the belief that we need to develop, Jessica, is people can afford this. They do have the money, right? And it might be a belief. You need to revisit the belief in the life insurance product. Maybe you're in a spot where I was early on, where I didn't really believe in life insurance. I just didn't know enough about it. I didn't hear enough about it. Find a way to strengthen your belief, right? Find a way to get to a level where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so convicted in life insurance that Gary can, I'm transferring this belief to him, because I'm either transferring belief and conviction or some level of doubt. Okay. So that's one thing I'd say to that, Jessica. But the other thing I would say is, regardless of whatever objection you get, which, by the way, there's not really a place for an objection to happen up until I give Gary the price based on how I position myself, right? I'm preventing objections. Where you'll get objections with this is at the close, when you say, hey, Gary, if we did those, it would be about 180 a month. And Gary says, ooh, I can't afford that. Or he says, I don't want those coverages. I just want the car insurance. Regardless of the objection you get, right? Here's the beauty of quoting 3 lines. Okay. Is I can say, hey, Gary, I totally get it. I understand. Thank you for bringing that up. Obviously, we need the car insurance. Like, that needs to stay. That's why you called me. ABC Bank needs that as well. You need it to drive legally. But of these other two coverages that I've talked to you about today, were one, and I'm going to repeat myself. I'm going to go back into the presentation because Gary just told me it's a price issue. I got to build value. I got to go back to benefits. I'll say, one, if you were to pass away prematurely, there's coverage that'll make, blah, blah, blah. Or two, if you were to get sick or hurt. But of those two, Gary, which one makes the most sense for you right now? And he says, hey, it's the life insurance. Great. If we did that coverage, it's going to bring that total down to about 165 a month. Okay. You can utilize that. Okay. Hopefully that helps, Jessica. But I would say, like, people do have the money, right? And there might be some certain cases where people don't. And just get real with people, right? And it will help you. So, okay. All right. Gary, that's what I've got for today.
We had everybody stay aboard the whole time. You kept everybody engaged. That's pretty solid. This was as a consumer, right? I mean, I'm in the sales field. But as a consumer, now you got me thinking, man. Now you got me thinking. Excellent. Excellent. This is another way that everyone can, you're sharing knowledge to be successful. I didn't know. I thought you were going to just sprinkle some shavings. You were dropping platinum logs on people and whatnot, man. So you took a whole nother level here, guys. I mean, this was way deeper. This was a full lesson. Couple things I picked up: changing the mindset and being grateful for the opportunity. Where the heck has my brain been? Right? I don't get too many complaints, but you're right. When people call to complain, that's an opportunity to solve their problem and move forward with something else. Also, I mean, you're finding problems that, a consumer like me didn't even think about. What if my kid needs braces down the road? I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think about, in 10 more years, my daughter's still going to be home, and then the validating the primary demand, not jumping right into that sale, and, acknowledging what people's, and the whole timing. I took the notes, man. Timing matters. I mean, everything was good. Everything fits together. Guys, Coulter, you own the team member perspective. I know you have a Facebook group there. You have a web page. Is it the teammemberperspective.com? I think you put it in tmperspective.com, tmperspective.com. It's in the web chat. I implore everybody here today. I know we got some Allstate folks here. Join Coulter's group. He's got a lot of cool nuggets there too. And so, Coulter, am I correct in saying, do you coach agents and their teams even further in this?
Yeah. So guys, I dropped the website in the chat because there are some free resources you can get. I do a podcast. Go check that thing out. There's at the very top resources. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Tune in, right? My hope is that it can provide some value. I also, what I just taught you, selling life to customers that have loans, there's a step-by-step sales training video that you can get and take it back to your teams and implement this, that you can get for free. Okay. It's also there. But then I also, if you want to get in contact with me and see what we're about, guys, it's just, we're consistent. We're consistent with our training. Every Friday we meet virtually and we train, something like this. And then on Wednesdays, we get together and we practice. We work on the scripts. We work on our delivery. We work on objections, and we do a sales league. It's a blast. You get to compete with different people just like you across the country and just plug into this fun team member community. So reach out if you have questions, but of anything, go get those free resources and go implement this stuff.
Coulter, is there and I know some people like phone numbers, some people for email, go through the website. Is there a phone number? Should someone want to just text you or contact you in a different way?
Yeah, I'm going to drop it in the chat. I don't do this all the time, but here we go. Text me, call me whenever. Just kidding, don't call me.
So 435-512-2172, 435-512-2172 to get direct access to Mr. Coulter Johnson. Everybody, we had 27 people. We just had 4 people fall off. 27 people the whole time on this. I want to thank everybody for their time today. Coulter, I thank you for your time, man. I mean, this was fun. This was, as a consumer, as an agent, this is eye-opening. So thank you for your time, everybody. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.
Appreciate you. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Gary.